So I want to talk about Chelsea and the managerial situation, which is something that we talk about so much, of course, because Roman Abramovich is a man who likes to chop and change managers quite frequently. And to be honest with you, it works. I mean, Chelsea are consistently challenging for titles. And even though Chelsea are going through a difficult period at the moment under Sarri, you just get the impression that he might turn things around. I mean, I think the Kepa situation was completely embarrassing and quite gobsmacking, to be honest. But in a very strange way, the way Sarri dealt with it is actually almost like united the team, I think. I think when I saw it unfolding, I couldn't quite believe it. Poor Willy Caballero, it was just so embarrassing. And you were kind of expecting a load of players on the pitch to haul him off, and no one did anything. And when Sarri stormed down the tunnel, I honestly thought, that is it. He is walking out of this club, because he seems like the kind of manager that would do something like that. But fair play to him, you know, he's come back and he's kind of organised the team, and suddenly things look okay. The only thing I would say is you wonder when one of the ex-players might come back. I mean, obviously Zola is there at the moment at the helm, but I'm looking at someone like Frank Lampard, because all of a sudden we're surrounded by players of that era getting into management. We've seen obviously Philip Neville, England ladies. We've seen Steven Gerrard at Rangers. Lampard, of course, is at Derby County and hoping to get them from the Championship into the Premier League. We've got John Terry at Aston Villa as well. And I think that Frank Lampard, I've worked with him over so many years. I used to work at Chelsea TV. He is an incredibly smart and astute guy, and obviously he's got a family, hasn't he, full of managers, you know, Harry Redknapp, and you know, he speaks to him all the time and actually helps with kind of team matters here and there. He's a really smart guy. I think he'd be a massive asset at a club like Chelsea, and I think it's only a matter of time actually until we see Lampard back there. But it's almost I think it's a little bit of a hindrance to him, the fact that he did play for a club as big as Chelsea, a club who like to get foreign managers and bring them in. It might be sort of holding him back a little bit. If it was, you know, if you look at Scott Parker, obviously has taken over. Claudio Ranieri was sacked. Obviously they pretty much look dead and buried there, and it looks like they're going to be relegated. So that'd be interesting what happens to Scott Parker at the end of this season, whether he's going to, you know, stick with them in the Championship and try to take them up, I don't know. But I definitely would like to see, I'd love to see a duo, to be honest, of Terry and Lampard back at Chelsea. It's funny because here in Malaysia there are loads of Chelsea fans, and I was speaking to someone earlier who hadn't actually heard of Chelsea Football Club, and I was quite surprised because it is so big. So I said, have you heard of Frank Lampard or John Terry or Didier Drogba? And he actually said, oh yeah, I know those players. So I know they say that players aren't as big as a club, but you know, it's funny how sometimes the player's almost bigger than the club in certain parts of the world. So you know, these guys, they've played at the highest level, and he's cutting his teeth in management and doing a pretty decent job of it at the moment. So it'll be very interesting to see. Not all good players make good managers. We've seen that with Thierry Henry, really struggling at Monaco, of course. Zinedine Zidane, he was one of the best players of all time. Everyone said he was going to be a complete flop, and then look what he did at Real Madrid. So you just never can tell. But I personally think that Lampard would be great. I think he'd be great with John Terry. So let's see. But at the moment, it's Sarri, and Sarri ball is here to stay. He's got plan A, he doesn't want to do plan B, so let's see where that takes Chelsea, hopefully to a 3rd or 4th place finish.